This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com with my weekly review of the points I find interesting in Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer, and none other than Piper is beside me, helping me out with this news update for you, and it's a big one today because Vince McMahon, in the middle of this big scandal, has announced his retirement. This scandal where I guess all these people signed non-disclosures for reportedly having affairs with Vince, and now there's a big investigation. Apparently, he's quitting all of his roles. However, he still has 80% voting power in the company, and his daughter is CEO. He's no longer in charge of creative, but it's unknown if he's still going to be involved with creative at all or not. And of course, his son-in-law, Triple H, was announced today as the executive vice president of talent relations, which would appear to be a good indication that Johnny Ace is not coming back to that position. Of course, he was involved in that whole scandal with Vince, so he was taking a leave, I guess, while being investigated. Bruce Pritchard was temporarily in charge, but now it looks like Triple H is back in that position that he once had before. Brock Lesnar apparently walked out of the meeting where it was announced to the talent that Vince had retired, and there was a lot of speculation this afternoon that Brock had quit WWE. In fact, Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer reported that Brock had quit. However, he did appear on SmackDown tonight. So if he did walk out, it didn't last very long. And apparently, the Money in the Bank talent was told at this meeting that Vince would still have a role in creative. So take that for what it's worth. WWE waited until minutes after the stock market closed to announce that Vince was retiring, so there would be no immediate shock value on the stocks. Apparently, Stephanie and Nick Khan are the new chief executive officers of the company. And for all of you guys, and Stephanie opened SmackDown tonight and started a thank you Vince chant, by the way. But for everyone that thinks that like Vince is gone with Stephanie running it, it's suddenly going to be great creative. I'm very, very sorry to break the news to you, but a woman that I don't know if she's 50 yet, but she's got to be near her 50s. If she's not in her 50s, she's going to write or be in charge of a company that originally, during the Attitude Era anyways, it was like geared toward 18 to 49-year-old men. So now a woman who's, if she's not 49, she's got to be close to it. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't put all your faith in Stephanie. And for everyone that loves Triple H and thinks he's so great, I never liked NXT. I'm sorry, that's my taste. I never liked NXT. Not his version of it, not this version of it. So I don't have much faith in him and suddenly turning it into this wonderful product that I'll be able to actually watch 3-minute highlights and not have to fast forward through 3 minutes of highlights, because I can't even sit through 3 minutes of highlight. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. I wish them luck. I really do wish them luck. I hope they can turn wrestling around because it'll be good for my channel, but I am being realistic. Apparently HBO Real Sports has been trying to get an interview with women that worked for WWE and were involved with the Vince McMahon allegations. But if they've signed non-disclosures and they talk about it, they can be sued. So I don't even know what the whole situation. You got to think there'd be a fallout for all this coming out, because the whole point of why you pay someone millions of dollars to not talk about this stuff and to keep it secret is to keep it secret. You don't pay millions of dollars for this stuff to pop up. Apparently, sorry, I still got a bit of a cold, as I've had for over a week now. Goldberg noted that his last match was the last match of his deal, but apparently he's still under some type of contract, and he said he's waiting for WWE to call him again. And Dave Meltzer speculates that he may have fulfilled all of his wrestling dates, but he might still be under a merchandise contract that would keep him from negotiating with other promotions. And Goldberg also said, quote, "But I suppose you never retire in the wrestling world until you're dead, so who knows," end quote. So he'll keep going as long as they want to keep paying him millions of dollars. And he also said, and this is interesting, he said that his shoulder has been really bad. And he claims that for the last 4 or 5 years, he hasn't even been able to lift 5 pounds over his head. But now with rehab, he's been able to get back to pressing 80 pounds. Meltzer points out, and I do agree with Dave Meltzer on this, if he couldn't press 5 pounds over his head, how could he look like he did? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. Even if you were taking all the steroids in the world, if you couldn't press 5 pounds, there's no way you could have bulging shoulders like he has. So that was a little bit weird. Ric Flair says he has plantar fasciitis in his foot. And other than that, that's the only thing that's bothering him. And apparently that impacts the connective tissue that support the arches of the feet. And he noted he's in a lot of pain from this. Apparently, the floor level at the Nashville Auditorium, where Flair's last match is going to be, has probably about 7,000 tickets out right now, which isn't bad for today. That's better than a lot of, if not most, WWE and AEW shows, actually. And that includes TV tapings. Brandy Rhodes, who's 39 now, says she's training for a return to the ring. AEW did a 0.32 rating this week from Duluth, Georgia. They had 5,100 paid. Sorry. Raw did a 0.46 rating, and that was from Tampa, and it was nearly 8,000 fans. Rampage did a 0.14 rating. I believe they taped it in the same place where they taped Dynamite the previous week. SmackDown did a 0.47 rating from Orlando with about 7,700 paid. NXT did a 0.13 rating. Tony Khan talked about the Ring of Honor deal and says that they've been in talks with Warner Brothers Discovery about a TV show, but there's no deal made yet. And he's not sure if they would tape at arenas or at the sound stage like they do for the AEW Dark Show if they were to get Ring of Honor a television deal. And Meltzer points out that the Ring of Honor pay-per-view that Tony Khan is putting on is going to be streaming on Bleacher Report rather than Fight TV or other U.S. streaming services. And Bleacher Report is a Warner Brothers Discovery service. So that shows that they might be trying to help strengthen that relationship. And apparently Tony Khan said he would expand the Ring of Honor roster if they can get a TV deal confirmed. He said Colt Cabana would be on the next Ring of Honor event. He didn't talk about the situation with why Cabana has been pulled from AEW television, but it has to do with CM Punk and politics, because we all know there's lots of politics in wrestling. Tony Khan also said that the Briscoes have signed an exclusive deal with Ring of Honor, and Meltzer points out that he finds that noteworthy because they weren't allowed on an AEW TV because Warner Brothers Discovery knew about remarks that one of them said in a tweet back in 2013 where he said, quote, he would effing shoot anyone who taught his kids there was nothing wrong with same-sex marriage, end quote. And apparently that tweet kept them from getting signed by WWE, who were interested in them at the time. I haven't seen much of them, but they have a good look, and I've never met them. So I have no opinion on them. I don't even think I've seen one of their shoot interviews because I've never really been interested in Ring of Honor wrestlers. Tony Khan says that people signed to Ring of Honor will be allowed to work approved independent events the way AEW wrestlers are. Apparently, both WWE and AEW made offers to buy Ring of Honor. However, WWE just wanted their tape library. Bobby Fulton of the Fantastics, and I'm sorry to hear this. He may be watching this because I do work with him. And he's got the shingles, which I guess has spread to his eye, which just sounds absolutely terrible. God bless him, man. He's been through hell. Santana from AEW needs reconstructive knee surgery. Will be out for about 8 months. Apparently, the injury Andrade has had is inflammation in his ankles. We'll be back in a few weeks. Could you imagine in the old days of wrestling, back when wrestlers were actually, I mean, there's still some tough wrestlers. I'm not denying that, but like, it's not like these guys wrestle 7 days a week and they make a fortune. And it's like, oh, my ankles are a little bit inflamed. I'm not going to wrestle tonight for the 1 day a week I have to wrestle. I mean, I amateur wrestled with a torn meniscus in my knee. Anyways, I just find that funny. And as I said previously, having him in Ric Flair's retirement tag team match actually turns me off of the match because I just find him incredibly boring. Chris Jericho suffered a broken nose in his barbed wire match versus Eddie Kingston this week. Paul White, who's 50 now, said Tony Khan has purchased the rights to his Captain Insano character that he played in the movie Waterboy. When he makes a comeback, he's going to be playing that character in AEW. However, he's injured right now. WWE has invested in the Premier Lacrosse League. Nothing new about Gable Stevenson. They were saying he was going to be drafted to Raw, and he appeared at WrestleMania, but he hasn't appeared yet. And no news on if he's going to continue with amateur wrestling or what. Who knows? There's a ton of comments on here. I'll try to get through some of them. That's the main news, guys. Mike Piper's right beside me. I'm petting her right now. She's tired. I'm petting her with this hand. Victor Murphy checking in from San Diego, California. Jesus, what's up? I've been working a lot today, and I'm going to do some yoga in a bit and maybe edit some more. Frank, Vince will still be pulling the strings. Yes, he will. It's his family in it. And as I said, really, do you guys honestly think that Stephanie McMahon will like make this product the product that kids are going to want to watch again, teenagers. I mean, there's maybe it'll change, but there's still very few women that like wrestling, and if you look at the crowds, particularly in AEW, there's proof of that. And I don't know. I don't know if a woman of her age is going to turn the company around to make it like it was in the Attitude Era or the eras that were more entertaining than the last 20 years have been since they've gone public. And we can call this the corporate era, where it's very corporate. But good luck to them. But I don't plan on. I got better things to do with my time, and I try and keep myself as happy as possible. So I'm not going to be tuning in too much to that. Hey Zeus, you're never going to see Blood Hunter versus Killer Cross because the Blood Hunter is having his last match on September the 3rd in Petawawa, Ontario. And I really have no interest in wrestling anymore. Thank you for the people telling me she's 45. I am going to pull out a hell of a match for this event. And yeah, leave on a good note, get some footage for the Blood Hunter movie, get some footage for the Hannibal TV. I know you guys have been wanting more Great North Wrestling footage, but I don't want to wrestle anymore. I got other stuff that makes me happy in life. And as I said, it's not that when I wanted to be a wrestler, I was a fan of the 80s and 90s wrestling. That's what I was passionate about. That's what I loved. And I actually got to work with many of the stars from the 80s and 90s over the years that I grew up idolizing, and I still interview a lot of them. So I'm living my dream in a different way. But the wrestling of today is not something I really care for or want to be. I'd rather work from home, be with my dog, and I don't like traveling that much. Anyways, a lot of you guys agree with me. Joe Dirt is a big fan of Vince McMahon. And yeah, I'll end this by saying, if you live in the Ottawa area, tickets are at ticketweb.ca. There's going to be women matches on this card, and it's really going to be worth the trip. It's going to be our only event of 2022.